Game number 1. Herzog is on your left. He's 5-0-1 against, we'll make sure we get Alan's last name correct here. And Injijian, I believe, but we'll get confirmation. We take a look at the board state here. We're on Herzog's side. He's got a Stoneforge Mystic along with a Sylvan Library and a couple of lands. On the other side, for Alan, he's got a Batterskull Doomsday GT with 1 counter and a couple of lands out there, but they all produce blue and red mana. None of them produce white at this point. So it looks like a Sword of Fire and Ice is what Herzog is searching up right now with the Stoneforge Mystic, while Injijian does wait patiently.
Potent against blue-red strategies.
Notable, notable. On top of it since round 1, Patrick.
Another issue that these Delver decks have in matchups like Maverick, the soft counter spells are just pretty poor. Spell Pierce does not have a lot of targets, and Daze falls off a cliff very quickly.
Looks like it's time for Night of the Reliquary. I wonder if Dramoka's command is good in Legacy.
How many enchantments are there that are good to blow up?
Sneak attack.
That you don't die the turn they get played.
You didn't say that before.
It's an important qualifier.
Okay. Doesn't appear to be very many. Is fighting a creature good? It's probably okay at best.
I'm sure it's good in the Maverick mirror match.
That's true. All right, I'm off Dramoka's command. It doesn't seem good.
Stoneforge, fight your Stoneforge, blow up your Sylvan Library. That's a pretty good turn.
All right, all right. I'm back on board now. Kill your Delver. Put a counter on my thing, kill your Delver. Put a counter on my Deathrite Shaman, kill your Deathrite Shaman. Thoughts?
Legacy is just such an extreme format that it's challenging for, oh, there's all sorts of small good deals kind of hidden in here, and it's a little bit expensive, but the utility is worth it. Like, that doesn't happen all that much in the format because the games are so fast, so explosive. It's hard to pay premium for flexibility unless the flexibility answers everything.
Well, Herzog's got an active Knight right now and an active Stoneforge Mystic, so life appears to be pretty good for the Maverick player. Yep, there's Sword. Going to put that in through the Stoneforge Mystic, and now it might be time to equip and go to work here with Night of the Reliquary. Herzog going to check the size of the creature. Looks like quite a few lands down there in the graveyard. We'll get confirmation on just how big that thing is in just a second.
But here's the issue. The Jeskai Delver deck just does not brawl like this.
No.
It's not meant for this kind of fight.
And there are 8 lands in the graveyard. You check Knight's base power and toughness. It's a 2/2, and then Sword giving another +2/+2. That's a pretty healthy attack of 12 there. Here's a Daze on that Deathrite Shaman. A minor victory there for Injijian. I'm not sure he's got a way out of this one. He seems in some real trouble right now. Ponder's not a bad place to start here for Alan. And that doesn't look like the face of someone who found it, though.
I was going to say he needs Source of Blast as a starting point, but he has no white mana.
Yeah. He's going to keep. Here's Brainstorm. Take a look at the top 3. Have to put 2 back, of course. Those 2 cards go back. There's white mana and Tundra. That's the turn back. All right, so maybe there's a sword hanging out there, maybe not. We'll find out.
Well, if there's a sword hanging out there, Herzog can still navigate this by just moving the sword onto the Stoneforge Mystic. He has 2 lethal threats that way.
That's kind of the trick through this situation, I think. And Herzog's going to move the sword right over the Stoneforge Mystic, presenting 2 lethal threats, just as you mentioned. Remember, Herzog, we don't see him much outside of legacy events, but we do. He's always playing Maverick, and he's always making a deep run.
Mm-hmm.
There's swords. Well, GT can slow it down just a little. Yep. Herzog going to gain a bunch of life here, however. That's not the relic where he's going to get exiled.
And Injijian is going to fall to 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Herzog's going to draw a card for his trouble.
Yep. No direct damage in Maverick. You're not going to find any burn spells, but just going to continue to present more threats. You have to imagine exactly what Thomas is going to do. Going to go with a Mother of Runes. The follow-up is a Deathrite Shaman.
It's really problematic now, as even deploying Batter Skull doesn't stop Deathrite Shaman from being a kill.
There's land number 5. That's concession number 1 for Allen, maybe? Yeah, because Batter Skull's not going to do it, as you did mention. So, Thomas Herzog's going to win again, number 1 here over Allen and Injijian. Maverick up a game here over Jeskai Delver. However, these two players are going to have to pick up the pace a little bit here. You can see why they got a draw. We're about to start game number 2. They're 30 minutes in.
Yep. I mean, these games can take a long time. Jeskai Delver, probably the slowest of the Delver builds because it's playing with Stoneforge Mystic, it's playing with True Nemesis, trying to play this longer game. But time is a concern now. Under 20 minutes on the clock.
Well, we'll take a look at the sideboards here for both players. We will start with Allen and Injijian and his Jeskai Delver deck. You have that in front of you.
3 Meddling Mage, Sword of Feast and Famine, 2 copies of Divert, a Wear Tear, 2 Vendilion Click, 2 copies of Surgical Extraction, a Flusterstorm, and Engineered Explosives, a Pyroblast, and Elemental Blast. Not a whole lot for this matchup. The Sword's okay, the Wear Tear's okay, the 2 copies of Vendilion Click are all right, but he has not a whole lot in his sideboard to improve the matchup, really focusing on beating other equipment decks, beating blue decks, beating combo decks, not bringing a lot to the table here.
Other side of things here for Thomas Herzog, the former Michigan State Spartan. He's got a Gaddock Teague, an Ethosworn Canonist, a Choke, an Abrupt Decay, a Qasali Pride Mage, 2 copies of Zealot Persecution, 2 Containment Priests, 2 Banishing Lights, and then 4 copies of Thoughtseize.
So I can maybe get behind the discard spells in this matchup if you think he's really vulnerable to Stoneforge Mystic and the equipment. I like bringing in the Qasali Pride Mage and the Abrupt Decay as more answers to artifacts, and the 1 copy of Choke. You look at the mana base here for Injijian, not really meant to play against this card. 8 fetch lands, 8 blue dual lands, 4 wastelands. Choke can lock him out pretty easily.
We're hoping for a white bordered Choke, yeah?
I am.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Just do it the right way.
Game number 2 going to be underway here in just a moment between these two players. Maverick and Jeskai Delver will be getting ready for battle round number 7. But very quickly, we're going to talk about that Season 4 schedule here on the Open Series, where we were in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, where Jacob Lively got the job done with Megamorph. Kind of setting the stage for the Pro Tour that did take place in Milwaukee last weekend. We're in St. Louis right now. Someone's walking out of here with $5,000. Invite to our Season 4 Invitational and 25 Open Series points. Next weekend, you're off, but I'm on for a little modern action in Dallas.
After that, we head to Philadelphia for their Standard Open Series event, a sealed Grand Prix in Atlanta, November 13th to the 15th. Again, StarCityGames.com/GP Atlanta for more information about that event. A Standard Open Series in Kansas City, Legacy in New Jersey, a Standard Open Series event in Denver, and then the Season 4 Invitational in Las Vegas, Nevada. Standard and Modern as the invitational formats with a 2-day $20,000 Standard Open Series event. That's December 11th through the 13th. And then a week after that in Roanoke, Virginia at the Star City Games headquarters, the Players Championship, December 19th and 20th to close out the year.
For all these events up until Denver, you sign up for the main event, you get the Hoppin' Rabbit Master playmat. Pretty simple stuff. You sign up, you get it. No strings attached.
And that is all the way through the Open Series event in Denver. That's December 5th. So a lot of time to pick up this playmat.
For those of you wondering, if you haven't seen Thomas Herzog before, you can't really tell when you see him in the chair. He's very tall.
Legit 7 foot tall.
He is exactly 7 feet tall. He used to be a center at Michigan State for the basketball team, for Tom Izzo. He's actually one of the tallest players in the program's history. His specialty is the ability to block shots with great timing. I'm on the Michigan State page right now.
Okay.
I'm not just saying that. Someone's making me say that. He also apparently owns an impressive collection of post moves, which won't play a role here. But, you know, you've been looking for people to play basketball with recently.
I mean,
if memory serves,
A 7-foot former D1.
You've been really pushing people around the court recently. Danny Jessup, Jim Davis.
I mean, I'll play, but I have a feeling that it would not be that much fun for myself or for Thomas.
I'm just saying, if you're looking for a game, I think Thomas would be interested in playing. That's all I'm saying. We can get a little guerrilla videotape footage of him blocking all of your shots and dunking on you. I personally wouldn't mind.
I've not been dunked on in a while.
It's
not a great feeling.
So that means it's happened before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. I've never had that happen before. I mean, I don't play as much basketball as you, but it's got to be kind of humbling.
It's not great.
Okay. And I'd actually like to, because you've been taking people down to the post. I'd like to see him take you down to the post.
It's not even fair. It's like, you know, someone has a legacy deck and you have a pre-con. It's like you're just not meant to play. The game's not meant to be played like this, you know?
The basic forest for Herzog and a Deathrite Shaman to start the game off.
If you played rec league games with someone who's like 6'6" with some basketball skills, it's like, this dude's hard to cover. Like, this is a lot to cover, this type of person, you know?
Yeah.
And this is someone 7 foot tall with real basketball experience. Don't like my chances.
Well, when there's a skill gap, it's kind of, depressing isn't the right word. It's just noticeable.
Yeah.
That's all.
Skill gap combined with zero variance is not great. Any chess players out there probably know that this is the case. The games are not that much fun. Sports can be similar.
Yeah. When I was playing volleyball last week, the opposing team was much better than our team.
Yeah. You feel it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. One of the players knew how to spike, so we lost.
That's one of the great things about, you know, Magic, for example, is anyone can win any match. Matchups are different. People draw random cards. There's a lot of variance, you know. I played plenty of sports where within 30 seconds I knew there was a 0% chance our team could win, and the game was going to take hours to resolve.
Stoneforge Mystic here for Herzog. Also a Mother of Runes this turn, too, so he's on the board in a big way. There's a Jite. And Injijian's going to have to get something rolling here.
And part of the problem in this kind of matchup here is that there's just so many different threats that Herzog has for 1 or 2 mana that in a creature matchup warrant removal spells. Leaving Deathrite Shaman, Stoneforge Mystic, Mother of Runes in play, these are not great options. There's some matchups, you know, the powerful combo matchups where the other side of the table can ignore some of this stuff. But if you're trying to win in creature combat, all this stuff matters a lot. It's hard to answer everything.
There goes Flooded Shroud Scalding Tarn. Injijian's going to fall down to 18.
I probably would like it. Come on up and talk to me. I have a cell phone.
Let's see what Lancey wants to search up here. There's Volcanic Island, that's 1. And now Volcanic Island is number 2. Let's see what's next here for Alan. Young Pyromancer. Perhaps the Source of Plowshares on the way. Yep, that'll take care of Mother Runes. And unfortunately for Alan, that's the one he's got to kill. Because you can't just let Stoneforge, I mean, you can't let that hang around. You can kill Stoneforge, sure, but then Mother Runes really gums up everything else.
Yeah, you can't attack or block or use removal spells for the rest of the game when Mother Runes untaps. So as ugly as it is to try to play through Stoneforge Mystic, that's the best thing that Injijian can do right now.
And Pyromancer, of course, bringing Elemental along with it. That's Dylan Donegan, Season 4 Invitational Champion. Deathrite Shaman's going to bring a Courser along with it. Hey-o! I can dig it. Let's take a look at the top card. The Whiff.
But Courser is not a bad card against someone trying to get some mileage out of Young Pyromancer. Some life gain, it's a great blocker.
2/4 is pretty big.
It is not great against Wear Tear, which Injijian has. And
Accurate.
it wouldn't surprise me if Injijian tried to set this up where he gets Courser Crewfix and the equipment for his troubles. He might allow Herzog a little bit of development to try to tag both cards.
There's a Wasteland. No non-basics over there for Herzog, however. Looks like another Young Pyromancer on the way. Might be interested in killing the Courser now. Maybe not, though. Thalia, the draw. Top card, Verdant Catacombs. Verdant Catacombs going to come in. Herzog going to gain a life. Up to 20. Top card after that's the Savannah. See where Thomas wants to go after this in just a moment.
A full grip.
There's Thalia. One of the staples of Maverick. Looks like he might have a brainstorm in response. And we do. 2 triggers from Young Pyromancer, so 2 elementals will be joining the battlefield here in just a moment. In the meantime, Injijian will draw 3 and, of course, put 2 back from the brainstorm.
I still think Injijian should wait here on the wear tear. He looks like he may respond and get the Courser. I just don't think that his Young Pyromancer tokens are worth a whole lot just yet. I mean, you look at Herzog's side of the table, he's got a Thalia, Stoneforge Mystic, a Deathrite Shaman. These are all creatures that are pretty well equipped to hang back on defense and block for profit against these tokens. And I don't know what the long-term plan is against an equipment on a creature here without that wear tear.
That's a good question, actually.
There's only one wear tear in the 75.
Yep.
And that's it.
I guess we'll find out. Deathrite Shaman. There's Stoneforge. Gonna search for another equipment. Herzog digging for Sword. Very effective in the last game. Looks like it might be pretty effective this game.
He can start shooting down the Young Pyromancers while the rest of his board is back to block the elemental tokens.
Mm-hmm. Time for Injijian to draw. Another Young Pyromancer, I believe.
See what the plan is, but I would have sat there with that wear tear. I would have allowed Herzog to find a lot of lands off that Courser because these tokens are not worth a whole lot right now. And if he's unable to answer equipment, that could just be the whole game.
It would be awkward for him to die to like an Umezawa Jitte or a Sword now.
His board does not look great against Umezawa Jitte. It's a lot of 1 toughness.
Just going to pass the turn back.
Yeah, he can't even make an attack right now. Herzog's life total is too high and his defenses are too good.
See how aggressive Herzog wants to get with the equipment here. Looks like he's going to start with Noble Hierarch. And now the follow-up's going to be Mother of Runes. That's going to make things even more difficult.
Maybe Injijian's trying to trap it with Vendilion Click. Maybe that's the plan here, but Herzog seems like he's not making a move just yet, and now Injijian just has to do nothing with his turn. Not only that, but there's 2 threatening equipments in the hand. It's not just like he gets one of them and he's out of the woods.
Yeah, they're both good. There's a Tarn.
Herzog is showing a lot of patience. He has not jumped the gun here, even though he's been missing land drops here, and he just knows his defenses are so solid right now that he can take his time, make his land drops to put the stuff in his hand slowly but surely.
Yeah, the question here is what's the rush if you're Herzog, and it doesn't appear as though there is one. He can get everything set up the way he wants it. There's a 3rd Young Pyromancer. Activate Deathrite Shaman, removing a land. Going to activate Stoneforge. And Injijian's going to respond with the Vendilion Click that you mentioned. But it appears that there are two problematic equipment over there from Thomas Herzog, as two Stoneforge Mystics have resolved.
And Herzog still gets to resolve the Stoneforge Mystic and put whatever equipment he has left over in his hand. He doesn't have to choose ahead of time.
Yep. Cheetane Sword to go along Green Sun Zenith and Knight of the Reliquary.
And now with Mother Runes going active too, I mean, there's no real response here.
It just gets uglier and uglier as we go. It's a pretty classic Maverick game, honestly. There's Jite. Because now not only is the equipment very difficult to overcome, but there's no killing the creatures either, because Mother of Runes is untapped and it's no longer summoning sick.
I mean, even just putting this on Thalia and then resolving the Exalted Trigger from Noble Hierarch requires Injijian to block with nearly everything. And even then, Mother of Runes just shuts down the combat step. Or Herzog can allow Thalia to die and just put the equipment somewhere else.
Well, let's see what he wants to equip, assuming he's equipping right now. It's going to be Thalia. Looks like he might aggressively give Pro Red. He's attacking. Exalted Trigger as well. So two GT counters. That's the card that's starting to take over this game. And it's taken over quite a few in Legacy and in Magic.
And very impressive to watch Herzog navigate this game where Injijian's had these young Pyromancers making a lot of tokens. Seems like it would be a pretty good setup here for a Jeskai Delver player, but Herzog just has enough 1/2s and first strikers where this stuff doesn't matter very much.
Here's Knight of the Reliquary.
And I do like Herzog's choice there of shooting down the Vendilion Click with the Jite counter rather than one of the young Pyromancers. You might say, well, what does he care about getting hit for 3? And the young Pyromancer has a power that makes a token. I think from Herzog's perspective, the token doesn't really matter very much, and all he's trying to do is play around the Jite getting blown up next turn. If that happens, he would much rather get the Vendilion Click off of the table than one of the young Pyromancers.
Makes sense.
He's vulnerable in the air right now, but these tokens don't amount to much. Little does Herzog know that he's actually in the clear. This Jite is not going anywhere.
No.
Unless Injijian brought in his engineered explosives, which I guess is not impossible, but then he loses his young Pyromancers as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's good in the matchup. There are a lot of 1-mana spells.
Sure.
Hierarch,
yeah.
Deathrite, Mom. Plenty of stuff to kill. It's not great on this board. That's for sure. There's a Delver. That one doesn't matter all that much. Gonna head back Herzog's way.
Legacy Challenge players, your pairings for the next round are now heading over to table 225. Once again, Legacy Challenge players, pairings are now coming down to table 225.
See what Herzog's got next. Sylvan Library, that's going to cost 3 mana because of Thalia. See his board is just all sorts of cluttered here. Deathrite Shaman, Noble Hierarch. Now the Reliquary, which is going to go active here. It's going to sacrifice a forest, search something up here for Herzog. 2 Stoneforge Mystics, with Thalia wearing a Jite. An active Mother of Runes, and now a Sylvan Library that's just been deployed. Wasteland going to be searched up. We're starting to go this route now.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Gonna grind you down. Take care of a Tundra. Probably gonna cut him off a white mana now.
Yep, just remove the potential for a sweeper here. Red removal doesn't matter for much. Karmancer doesn't matter for much. White mana is the priority.
Don't know if the game is gonna finish. You see we're underneath a minute here in the match, but if it were to come to its natural conclusion, I think Herzog's winning this game.
He's got a huge edge right now.
He's got to love his position. We're getting aggressive again with Mother of Runes and Thalia.
So I will say this. Not a huge fan of Herzog going aggressive with the Mother of Runes.
Neither am I.
Because, you know, if Injijian wants to block with a bunch of stuff to try to get Thalia off the table, that's fine. It's not like Thalia is that critical right now. The Jite could be on anything. And Herzog is opening himself up maybe to getting hit back with a Jite if Injijian rips it and puts it on something. Maybe a removal spell gets turned on all of a sudden. And I just don't think there's any reason to incur that kind of risk.
I just think that the only way that you lose this game is by having your Mother of Runes be tapped on your opponent's turn. You're like going into Injijian's turn, you know, who knows if there's something like Radiant Flames over there? You know, I don't know. Electrolyze, like who knows what? Something that can kind of just steal the game from you. It's unlikely, but that's the only sort of card that you're going to lose to.
Yeah, and I just don't think there's that. If Thalia was, you had to protect that thing, you had to be punching it through, that would be one thing. I don't think Herzog is in that kind of spot. He can just sort of put the Jite on whatever. It could go on the Stoneforge Mystic. It doesn't really matter at this point. All of his creatures are replaceable, and I just would not want to be tapping Mother Runes that way.
Deathrite Shaman activation is going to remove a creature, so Herzog's going to gain some life. But it appears that is time, and so we should be moving into extra turns here, so we will make sure exactly where we're at. And it looks like Mr. Herzog is going to be turn number 1. So these players will play a couple more.
But as you mentioned, hard to imagine Injijian, you know, winning the game, period, at this stage, much less in the allotted time.
Herzog up to 20 and Injijian at 11 as we work our way into turn 1 of extra turns. Sylvan Library activation here. Looks like he's going to pay 4 life to get another card here. I think one of those cards is Choke.
Sure.
Yeah, as if he needed more. Looks like he took 8. But yeah, they're going to confirm. Yeah, he only drew 1 extra card because you get to draw 1 regardless, and then he takes an extra 1.
I was about to say, taking 8 here seems unnecessarily risky. You know, all Herzog has to do is not die. He's up a game.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to take 8 here, trying to go for a kill, when as long as he protects himself, he'll be fine.
So Herzog wants to move forward on this turn. Gonna attack with Thalia. And I love the no activation of Mother Runes, because actually Injijian does have a copy of a Lightning Bolt in hand now.
Yep.
And yeah, there's no reason to move with the Mum. And if there's going to be a super gang block like this, cool.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we resolve first strike damage. This is why, you know, this block right here is why I wouldn't have done anything on the last couple turns with Mother of Runes, because this is fine for Herzog.
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff dies, and the Thalia is totally interchangeable with any other creature in play.
3 damage, 2 GT counters.
Especially now, you're kind of just playing to not lose at this stage. Herzog doesn't need to do anything with these tokens. Maybe he wants to take care of Delver of Secrets, because that's sort of a threatening card.
And in this, he could just go pump my creature, kill one of your creatures or just double pump. Either one works. Now, those elementals will still stay because there's no double strike there, but they won't kill Thalia.
Yeah.
There's Mother of Runes number 2. This, more than anything, this kind of demonstrates the power of Mother of Runes, honestly.
In fair creature matchups, this might be one of Magic's most poorly developed cards of all time. Like, if you are playing a low-level creature and removal spell game, if this kind of card was legal in Standard, it would be a disaster.
Yeah.
In Legacy, you don't really see it very much because, well, it's, you know, the game is not necessarily about creature combat that large of the time. But in the games that are about creatures brawling and removal spells, this is one of the most powerful cards in Legacy, if not the most powerful card.
Comes out on turn 1. You have to have an answer immediately, or you don't get to do stuff. Here's a choke. We're going to go over to Injijian. He's going to sacrifice a Flooded Strand, fall down to 10. But his ability to get back into this game, very unlikely here.
Well, he's got a Bolt. He's got a Delver. Delver gets in 2 hits on turns 2 and turns 4. That's 6 points of damage. He has a Bolt. I guess if he draws 2 Lightning Bolts, although now he can't even do that because Chokes in play. He's only got the 2 Volcanics. So not sure there's any way for Injijian to win inside of the time.
As far as coming at your opponent from multiple angles, Thomas Herzog has done quite the job. Delver's going to reveal a Daze. A little bit late to the party, that's for sure.
Surveying the damage.
You can take a look at that board as long as you'd like.
Yeah. It's bad news.
There's no big key to get out of this one. Here's an activation out of the Reliquary. Gonna sacrifice a forest. We'll see what Herzog wants to search up here. Might go with Wasteland, could go with the Fetch Land, a couple of different options here. Might go to the Cradle.
Oh,
all right.
Exciting. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 creatures.
8 creatures.
Okay. I don't know if he's got anything to do with this.
I'm not entirely sure.
Rushwood Elemental? Or...
Yeah, that's it. A big green Sun Zenith is about the best I could think of. It's going to start by sacrificing Horizon Canopy.
7 in the pool?
Yep.
All right. That's all I got.
Good thing there's not Mana Burn anymore. It's good. That'd be a little awkward. Turn 3. Little Sylvan Library action. There's a Swords Plowshares, Windswept Teeth, I think a Deathrite Shaman in there. Looks like he's going to take the swords. I guess you can activate Scavenging Ooze a bunch with the Cradle.
Yep.
That's another thing you can do.
There's not a whole lot to do with it. It's not like this deck's trying to go off with Gaia's Cradle, but there's spots where, 3 mana is helpful. You got some creatures in play.
There's swords to take care of the Delver. So that's gone. It looks like we're coming into the red zone, boys. Couple Stoneforge Mystics, a Thalia with a Jite, and a Knight.
Injijian surveying his hand here. A Lightning Bolt against 2 active copies of Mother of Runes.
Gonna be tough.
Daze against unlimited mana.
Yep.
One ones against things larger and more productive than 1/1s.
Yes, like an 8/8 of the Reliquary. It's a good block.
No, you just want to play it. You just want to play it out. You don't know. I mean, you don't know what can happen in a turn.
I got an idea of what can happen.
You got a draw step.
Yep.
You know? Making his move here, looking like we're gonna get Dally off the table, maybe. Maybe not.
Not even close. He's got first strike with the Jite. Might be thinking double block a Stone Forge Mystic. Oh, all right.
Bold, sure.
So all of Injijian's creatures are going to die now. And I think he will be dying on turn 5 of extra turns. We'll see. Here's a Cradle. And just what we need, a Green Sun Zenith. We'll see what this is going to search up. I hope it's the Dryad Arbor. It'll be a Knight of the Reliquary instead.
Yeah, Herzog trying to go for the kill here on turn 5, which, you know, if Injijian's going to play this one out, you might as well.
Might as well play back at him.
Right. You don't know for the same reason, you know?
Yep.
You don't know. Big top deck. Ooh, it's a sword.
Pretty powerful card. That's going to be it. That's going to do it. The sword did not help. The draw step did not yield anything. And Thomas Herzog is going to win this match 2-0 over Alan Injijian. Maverick will take care of Jeskai Delver. Herzog will move on to 6-0-1, and Injijian will fall down to 5-1-1.